Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a new 2016 album review. And yes, I'm in a different spot. I'm in my living room as opposed to my bedroom. But anyway, bring you guys a new 2016 album review. And today we're going to be looking into a band that, well, a lot of people either like and a lot of people who either hate. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the fans wouldn't expect me to review a band like this. And probably going to lose a lot of subscribers and shit, but I really don't give a fuck. And as you can see below the title of the video, we're going to be looking into the new album from the metalcore band the Amity Affliction entitled This Could Be Heartbreak, which came out today through Roadrunner Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Amity Affliction, they're a metalcore band from Australia that formed in 2003. I discovered these guys, well, a little over a year ago. I first heard the song Chasing Ghosts from the album of the same name, which came out in 2012, and I was like, I thought it was pretty good. Then I checked out their other stuff, and I don't know, it clicked with me for some reason. Now, the Amity Affliction are kind of like lumped into that whole, I guess you can say, Warped Tour-esque bands, with bands such as like A Day to Remember, We Came as Romans, Miss May I, stuff like that. And I wanted to expand upon that, my taste. I mean, I know it's weird because I like bands such as like Cannibal Corpse, Behemoth, Iron Maiden, stuff like that. But I also like some of those bands from that scene a little bit. I mean, there's some of those bands I like, and then there's some bands I really fucking hate, but that's another story. But anyway, back to the Amity Affliction. This album is the overall band's fifth full-length album, and this is the follow-up to 2014's Let the Ocean Take Me. I've heard a stream of this, a leak or something, before the album came out on YouTube, but I wanted to see if I'd like it. And honestly, I think it's a pretty good album. I mean, it's a step up from Let the Ocean Take Me, but has a little bit more of a darker kind of vibe to it and a more of a mature tone to it. I mean, the one thing to know about is the vocal work on this album, or the vocal work in general, was pretty good, especially from Joel Birch, their main vocalist, and he does a lot of the unclean vocals, and you could tell his vocals have improved a lot. I mean, just his growls and just screams had gotten better, and he puts like so much emotion into it, which makes it really stand out. And then there's the clean vocals from Arn Stringer, the bass player. I mean, his clean vocals really shine on this album. I mean, you could tell he gotten better with his clean singing, and I really like that. And the guitar work is pretty good. I mean, Dan Brown and Kyle Yalcum, their touring guitar player. I mean, I don't know if he actually played on this album. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Dan actually comes up with some good riffs this time, and he does some different stuff as opposed to previous Amity albums. And the bass playing is a little bit audible. I mean, you can't hear it a whole lot. And the drumming from Ryan Burt is all right. Right, he comes up with some good drum beats. But yeah, let's dive into this album track by track. Now the album opens up with I Bring the Weather With Me, which is the first taste of the new album we hear. It kind of has like the same choir and stuff from previous albums. And then there's the first from Amity Affliction that nobody was expected, was a guitar solo, which you wouldn't even hear that from any past Amity Affliction albums. And it's pretty much one of the different things that they did with this album. And I kind of like how they try to like experiment and do something new, and I think that's pretty awesome. And then we go into This Could Be Heartbreak, the title track, which kind of is like stands out for it, which song for it has a little bit more of a pop punky vibe to it. It's pretty catchy. It's easy to sing along to, and this song pretty much kind of reminds me of this other song of theirs, Never Alone, from the previous album, from Let the Ocean Take Me. It's a pretty good song. And then we get to Nightmare, which has a very interesting song. It's just the bridge to that song is pretty interesting, and just the guitar with the verses. For some reason, they kind of remind me a little bit of Guns N' Roses' "Welcome to the Jungle" a little bit. But I don't know, that sounds kind of weird, but that's just me. Tearing Me Apart, which is another great song, which kind of offers something a little bit different, especially near the bridge, where it just has like pianos and Joel kind of doing like a different vocals a little bit. Like he almost does cleans, but he has that sort of grit and aggression to it with which kind of makes it different vocally, that what he does as opposed to previous albums. Then we get to OMGIMY, which is Oh My Gosh, I Missed You, which is kind of like a sequel to Never Alone, going a little bit. And this song pretty much has a positive, upbeat vibe to it. And it also has a voicemail similar to like Never Alone, on which Never Alone's voicemail was dated as April 12th, and the OMGIMA's Wise soundtrack, not soundtrack, voicemail is dated August 12th, which kind of feels like the message was received or answered. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Anyway, moving on. Next song is called All Fucked Up, which is the first time Amity Affliction has done something different, which is a ballad. And they've done it pretty so well. It's a very personal song about sort of like mental health issues from what I can interpret of it. And this song itself is pretty much sung just pretty much mostly throughout all Aaron, except for like near the last verse or so where Joel comes in. I mean, you can barely hear him and like you can kind of hear him, but he's like very faint. But he does make, you can hear him a lot near the last verse. Overall, it's a pretty interesting song. And then we get to Fight My Regret, which is kind of like where the band sort of getting back to like a heavy sound, which is pretty much one of the heavier songs on this album. Some Friends, which kind of has another example of kind of similar to Tearing Me Apart, which has kind of like Joel singing a little bit similar, like kind of near the beginning you can hear it. Wishbone, which kind of has like the more of the usual style of Amity, the kind of just very catchy, and it's just a very really good sing-along chorus to it. And then we get to the next on the album, which is kind of Note to Self, which kind of, for me, kind of reminds me of something from Chasing Ghosts a little bit, and just Joel and Aaron's vocals, they're pretty good. And then we get to the last song on the album, Blood in My Mouth, which is kind of like a bit different, which kind of has a large use of the electronic samples and stuff in there, which kind of makes it different, kind of like similar to like the first two albums. But yeah, it's a pretty good song. Now overall, this could be Heartbreak by the Amity Affliction. It's a pretty good album. It kind of like blends sort of like their old style and sort of like their new style with new sounds, kind of like in one a little bit. And now if I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this like probably in 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good album. So yep, that's my review of the new Amity Affliction, guys. So let me know what you guys think about it. It's kind of like a first thing, and I know a lot of people wouldn't expect me to review a band like them, but honestly, they're not bad. I mean, give them a chance. I mean, I know a lot of people would be surprised. I know a lot of people would probably unsub for me or shit for liking a band like this, but I really don't give a fuck. I mean, if you don't like them, that's fine, but just don't give me shit, okay? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video, and keep it metal.